Hi everyone, I'm Tatiana from EdTrust and I'm here with
Sabrina Wesley-Nero.
and Sabrina wrote a piece on our blog. And what inspired you to write this piece?
Basically, early in my career, I was really inspired by Bishop's concept of windows and mirrors for literature. And I've been thinking about what if schools were that, right? What if schools were places where learners could understand themselves, see themselves, and also get a window into the other lives of other people, understand others, understand the world. So I was like, okay, what would it take for a school and for books to be that in schools and in kids' lives? Um, and I was thinking about this quote, I think is attributed to John Dewey, that says, democracy has to be born anew with every generation, and education is its midwife. I'm like, so what does it take for education to serve that purpose? What does it take for us to have schools and books and curricula that allow people to see themselves, understand others, and then birth a new democracy with every generation to make it bigger and better. Um, so that's what I was reflecting on when I was writing that blog.
In your blog, you talk about social justice imagination. I was wondering if you could elaborate on that and how educators can use that to inspire their students.
Right. So it's key, right? So once we understand ourselves more fully, once we have that mirror, once we understand others in the world more fully, what do we do with that knowledge? Like, how do we create that better world, better version of ourselves collectively? Um, I don't think we're served by being ignorant, like sleeping in ignorance of who we are. The beautiful mosaic of diversity in the United States is a unified tapestry, and if we learn more about that diversity, we bring that unified tapestry. If we learn more about our history, right, and just kind of have a reflective mirror on us collectively, we understand that we are not served well by minimizing or erasing our mistakes or unjustly highlighting kind of what we decide is a triumph. Once we really have a fuller understanding of who we are collectively and individually, that beauty of that mosaic, a clear understanding of our history, then with that knowledge, we can also use those books to imagine that new democracy, that more perfect union, right? To have that and to be able to use a social justice imagination to imagine based on a fuller knowledge of who we are. That gives us the ability to paint that picture. Our learners can paint the kind of future they want to create for themselves and for our country. And that's where the canvas piece comes in. I wanted to expand on that original theory and say, okay, reflect on ourselves, have that reflection and representation, understand others, have that window, but then come together with that unified vision that's more informed, um, that has truth behind it. And we can create, okay, what does that vision look like? And then once we have the vision, we work toward it, right? We don't know what we're working toward until we
Yeah.
paint that canvas, right? So that's what I wanted to do with that.
If you could give us one book recommendation, what would it be?
Just one. Oh, wow.
Well, if you have more, you can give us more.
um, so I think for educators, maybe I think about it. So I'm a little bit of a geeky nerd. So anything by bell hooks
Oh,
works for
yes.
me. Every time I engage with her words, I feel inspired and convicted and just a little bit more tuned in to the work I want to do. And then if people are looking just for an example of how we can look at our history in an integrated kind of systems thinking way, you can look at Caste by Wilkerson. You can look at how the word is passed. You can look at The Color of Money, right? So all of those, you may not agree with every detail of the way
Yeah.
those authors lay it out, but the way that they take a very nuanced, integrated look at our history and bring all the systems together and what we've done well and what we haven't done well, and help you to imagine based on that what we want to do differently. Like that approach, I think, is very inspirational in whatever kind of your field is and whatever your background is. So it's less about the details, but about looking more fully, being open to nuance and to learning deeply, I think will help.
Well, thank you for coming out. Make sure you check out her blog posts on our blog. And thank you so much.